Welcome. I am Dvora Yoshiko Dmitrich of Dukyu Kobudo, Hozon Shinkokai, the organization founded by Taila Shinken to preserve and promote the classic weapons of the Dukyu Islands. Akamine Esuke Sensei, my teacher and Taila's successor, committed his life to continuing Taila's work. Today, I am proud to be part of this tradition and continue the work of these teachers. This film represents the first in a series of historic and technical works on Dukyu Kobudo. The film, photographs, and history presented here come directly from archives handed down from Taila Sensei to Akamine Sensei and now to my peers and I. Sponsored by the Beikokuso Hambu, the United States headquarters of Dukyu Kobudo, Hozon Shinkokai. This film was produced with the permission and support of Akamine Sensei. In 1897, Taila Shinken was born in Nakazato village on Kumejima, one of the many islands off the coast of Okinawa. Shortly after his birth, relatives in the Meizato family adopted the young boy. At the time, the Dukyu Islands were very poor due to the role they played in the wars waged by Japan. Though poverty and hunger were common across the islands, Taila was known to have had a particularly frail constitution. As with many poor communities, survival was considered far more important than education. As a result, few people of that generation completed school past the 4th grade. After completing what schooling he could, Taila left Kumejima for Iriomote on the island of Ishigaki, where he found work in the coal mines. A diligent worker, Taila's mining career was cut short by a mine shaft collapse that trapped him under heavy debris. Among other injuries, Taila suffered a badly crushed ankle. This injury made it impossible for him to continue in the mines. Determined to overcome his injuries and physical limitations, Taila was committed to finding the means to heal and strengthen his body. The formal concepts of karate styles and dojo, as we know them today, had not yet been realized in the Dukyu Islands. Furthermore, the indigenous Dukyuan martial art of tea was not taught to the general public. And though his grandfather, Kanegawa Gibu, had exposed him to Kobudo and tea, Taila did not feel he would find his bodybuilding program in his homeland. At the time, Kano Jigoro and Judo were being widely publicized, both in Japan and abroad. Judo was well known for the physical rigor of its practice. Believing Kano's new art was just what he needed, Taila left the Dukyu Islands for Tokyo in 1922. Once on the mainland, Taila moved to Guma-ken, the Tokyo community where most Okinawans settled. Here he met Funakoshi Gijin, a fellow Okinawan and the man primarily responsible for introducing Okinawan Karate-do to mainland Japan. Though he came to Tokyo to study with Kano, he found what he was looking for in Funakoshi. Taila threw himself into the study of Funakoshi's karate. His efforts helped him rebuild his body to the point where he became known for his strong, muscular physique. While the effects of his ankle injury were greatly diminished, they were not entirely erased. Taila studied under Funakoshi from 1922 through 1929, when he opened a branch school of Funakoshi's karate in Ikaho with the support of Funakoshi. Through Funakoshi, Taila was introduced to Mabuni Kenwa and Yabiku Moden. Mabuni introduced Taila to Nahua-ti. Yabiku was the preeminent teacher of Okinawan weapons of his generation, and Taila began the study of Okinawan weaponry under his instruction. In 1933, Yabiku awarded Taila a professor's license. Yabiku also founded the Dukyu Kobujutsu Kenkyukai, a society for the research of Dukyuan weapons. In 1942, Taila returned to Okinawa and continued his research of Dukyuan weapons. By 1945, World War II had left Okinawa, its people and economy devastated. At this time, American soldiers developed an interest in Okinawan martial arts. With this interest in post-war poverty, many prominent martial arts teachers chose to open dojo and teach publicly to survive. Taila began teaching Kobudo across Okinawa, as much to feed himself as to continue his research and spread the art. Yabiku Moden passed away in 1943. With his death, many of his students ceased their practice and his organization slowly died. Still committed to Yabiku's vision, Taila formed the Dukyu Kobudo Kenkyu Kai to continue the work of his various teachers. During these early days, he researched and developed 30 kata and created a solid, comprehensive curriculum that would become the foundation of the dojo he opened in 1959 near Naha. That same year, Taila heard of Bojutsu teachers who were direct descendants of Chinen Sanda, founder of Yamani-ryu. They were Higa Seiichiro, Higa Daisuke, Akamine Yohei, and Higa Jinzaburo from Kakazu in Tomigusku. To satisfy his curiosity, he left Naha for Tomigusku to study Yamani-ryu under these teachers. This trip would mark the first meeting between Taila Shinken and Akamine Esuke. Historically, the study of more than one weapon was virtually unheard of. So, Taila's Yamani-ryu teachers asked him to demonstrate Teiko, Nunchaku, and Sai. Akamine Esuke, a fellow Yamani-ryu student, had never seen these weapons before. He was so impressed with Taila's technique that he decided to become his student. Akamine Sensei would be Taila's student for the remainder of his life. As Taila's senior student, Akamine Sensei was in the unique position of watching him add and organize the various techniques and kata into the system that would eventually become Ryukyu Kobudo Hozon Shinkokai. In addition to building a structured curriculum, Taila was adding a training element that would permeate all Ryukyu Kobudo Waza and as a result become part of the signature of this weapon system. During his travels, Taila met Higa Yuchoku, a student of Chibana Chosen and a noted teacher of tea. Taila and Higa soon became close friends. As he continued his relentless study, Taila recognized that his Kobudo relied primarily on positioning and timing. Though effective, Kobudo lacked the explosive power found in tea. Specifically, it lacked gamanku, or hip technique. Taila's ability to effectively demonstrate hip technique was limited by his age and the ankle injury sustained in his youth. However, he insisted that his students know and understand how to apply the explosive power of the hips. He asked Higa Yuchoku to help infuse his system of Kobudo with gamanku. In 1964, Taila published Ryukyu Kobudo Taiken, the Encyclopedia of Ryukyu Kobudo, the first comprehensive book about Ryukyu Kobudo written in Japanese. Currently, no authorized translation is available to the public in any other language. In 1970, with his health failing, Taila was concerned about the future of his organization, Ryukyu Kobudo Kenkyu Kai. He did not want his organization to die as did Yabiku Moden's. So Taila changed the name to Ryukyu Kobudo Hozon Shinkokai, which translates to the Society for the Preservation and Promotion of the Weapons of the Ryukyu Islands. During this time, he presented his students with the first and only certificates of rank he ever issued. Among these, he issued the first and only Shihan license to Akamine Esuke Sensei. Later that year, nearly 50 of his students were at his bedside when, at the age of 73, Taila Shinken died of cancer. Shortly thereafter, the Rijikai, or Board of Directors of the organization, named Akamine Esuke Sensei as Taila Shinken's successor and second president of the organization.